2024-2025 Foothill League Predictions. Whew. I'm excited. This is my 7th year at Golden Valley, 5th year in charge of the varsity program. Every single year has been so much fun, so energetic, so much passion. And every time around this year, I get very excited to be a part of some of the best soccer that I get to witness every single year. This year's no different than any other year. I feel a sense of energy, maybe a sense of change in the wind, predictability, everything. I feel as if this could be the year that things really start to change for this league. And it's exciting. It's very exciting. No way am I going to predict who gets first, who gets second, or even who gets 7th. I am here to talk about previous year, key players for some teams, and an overall prediction of how a program can do. Starting off first with Castaic. Last year finished 1-12-4 with a 0-10-2 in Foothill, finishing 7th place. 16 goals for, 56 goals against. I know for a fact that it takes 5 years to change a culture of a program. This is Castaic's 5th year. I believe that they have pieces that can make them compete. Some of their seniors are going to be real key players in this. Obviously, you need to close the gap on the goals for and goals against. I do know that their goalkeeper is very solid, and he is going to help that. Coach Daniel hopefully had a really good summer camp, hopefully has a really good preseason. They've played 2 games so far, not doing so good, but hopefully they come into the league ready to go. Overall, I predict that Castaic will be the upset team. I think if any team that goes into Castaic and they think it's an automatic win might get surprised. 2 teams last year tied against Castaic. Do not sleep on this team. If you sleep on this team, you will not get the result. Moving on to West Ranch. Last year, West Ranch finished 3-6-5 with a 2-6-4 Foothill League record with 19 goals for and 29 goals against. I think that this is the team that will break out this year. Will they make the playoffs? Not sure. But reasoning for that is Coach Kane has now been there for a good amount of years, and their Frosh team last year finished 7-2-1, tied for first. Their JV team finished 5-4-3, tied for third. So with those players going up and now starting to contribute to a varsity team, is this the year that they start to turn it around and really win more games than 2, tie more games than 4, convert some of those ties into wins, convert some of those losses into ties? It very well could happen. I think that this program has seen consistency, and when you start seeing consistency, you start seeing results. Anybody that sleeps on West Ranch will lose the game. I predict that 100%. I think that this team is on the up and up. This program is on the up and up. Coaching staff has been there for a good number of years now, and they are ready to start competing in Foothill. Probably one of the most vengeful teams in all of Foothill is going to be Valencia. Last year, they finished 5-8-3 with a 4-5-3 record. 28 goals for and 44 goals against, placing them in 5th. If you're talking about a team that is really looking forward to this season, I think it's Valencia. I think they want to go back out. I think they want to prove that they can be contenders in this league. And I say contenders, top 3 spots, not make the playoffs, top 3 spots. I think they finally have some of the pieces to make it all happen. Last year, they had a very small senior class. This year, they have a very big senior class. A lot of supporting cast from both juniors and sophomores, and possibly even some freshmen. I think they had a really good summer camp. I think they have a really good preseason. And I think the biggest factor here is nobody knows how they play. They played 2 games so far. Both games were away. Both games were wins. So I think this team is hitting the ground running. They open up against Hart at Hart. So I think that this really could be the year that Valencia shocks people and shocks people right off the bat. Love the players on this team. I love Paolo, Henry, Ian, Diego, possibly Jack if he gets a starting spot. I think, again, this team really is going to be explosive. Look for the counterattack. Look for a very strong defensive structure. I think that's what their game plan is going to be. Can they make teams upset by providing really good defensive structure, and then can they counter off the opportunities from that defensive structure? Look for a very explosive Vikings team. This team can be very deadly. Under Coach Jose, I think that Valencia is going to do very well. I think they're going to mix in the games early, get results early, and they are going to push their way to be, again, top contenders in the league. Moving on to Saugus. Saugus finished 4-7-5 last year with a 4-4 in record in Foothill. Good enough for 4th place. Last year they had to win their last 2 games, which they did against Golden Valley and Castaic, to get that 4th place spot. 23 goals for, 26 goals against. So their gap is very small. Seniors that are missing from this team are going to be some of the back line. I think it's going to be 2 center backs. Big questions there. But the leaders, Jacob, Lincoln, Santi, obviously Ethan in the net's a very big factor here, and they have a lot of new talent coming into the program. Head coached by Seth and Joe, these guys are locked in. They've been doing this a very long time. They know the recipe. They know how to work. They're going to be very physical in games. They're going to compete in every game. They know how every team plays. To the coaches that have been in this league probably the longest, and I think they're going to do really well. Overall, Saugus likes to play very physical. I think they like to get in. They like to prove that they can push people around, especially in the middle of the field. And I think they can, now with Santi being a senior, create more goal-scoring opportunities and press higher than they usually do. Overall, I think that Saugus is going to remain in the picture just like they did last year. The only real problem I have with both Valencia and Saugus is their JV and Frosh teams. Last year, Valencia Frosh 1-8-1, Valencia JV 3-6-1. Not a lot of winning mentality going into the upper levels. Again, Saugus Frosh 2-7-1, Saugus JV 5-5-2. Same problem. Where's the winning mentality coming from, and is it being pushed up into the varsity level? We'll see. Next up, we have Canyon, 7-6-4 record with a 5-3-4 overall in Foothill, finishing 3rd place. I said this last year, Canyon is going to be dynamic. They are going to be explosive. They had 32 goals for, 25 goals against. Very, very strong team at home, 4-2-1 at home. Very, very hard place to play. Very energized when they play there. And I think we're going to see a lot of the same this year. Returning players, Daniel, Anthony, center back. 2 years ago, they were sophomores starting for varsity. This year, they return. Love Kyle as goalkeeper. I think he's going to contend for the best senior goalkeeper. I love the midfield options with Mora, with Roque, with Cheeky. I think that this team is really, really going to be hard to beat. They are going to play very, very hard. And my question is, with the 3 players that started up top last year, who is replacing them? One of their potential starters tore his ACL in preseason, so he is out. So it's going to be up to the supporting staff to create chances for them. This is a program that wins. Canyon, 6-1-3 for their Frosh, good enough for second, and 7-4-1 on their JV team. Winning mentality, going up to the varsity team. They will grind out games, they will find ways to win, and they will be successful. Look for them to contend for the top 3 spots again this year. Moving on to Golden Valley. Being the head coach now, this is my 5th season. I'm a little bit more privy to information. Last year we finished 11-8-4 with a 7-4-1 in Foothill, good for second place, best in the school's history. 37 goals for, 28 goals against. Very strong at home, 9-2-1 record. Struggled away, 2-6-3 record. This year, I said it at our banquet, and I keep saying it, this is a new era for Golden Valley. I think they have taken on a new identity as a contending team, a consistent team, a program in which the standards are high, the level of play is high. Everything every year is always raised. The bar is always going up. The players coming in are getting better. This freshman class is probably one of the best freshman classes that I've ever gotten. Last year, Frosh, 2-5-3 record, didn't do so well, but the JV record, 5-4-3, good enough for tied for 3rd place. Again, I'm biased on this, but I also speak truth. This team has got the same amount of potential as last year's team. However, some of the key players that were last year are gone. CIF, first team, goalkeeper, gone. Midfield unit, gone. The strengths of this team are returning defensive line and some key players that play midfield and up top. I think that the biggest issue that this team faces is, can they live up to the standard of always getting better every year? It's a very tough challenge for this because of how well we finished, and it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and a lot of concentration to get throughout the year. Last year, we started out fairly strong. The first 4 contests, we were 3-1, only losing to Hart at Hart 1-0 away. After that, a little bit of a bump, but we started to see a little bit of traction in the second half when we played Castaic. We played Hart, winning both those games, but I think we lost focus, losing to both Canyon and then Saugus, having to kind of round out our year, 2 wins, 1 against Valencia and 1 against West Ranch. Overall, the pieces are there. Will's going to be up top, providing a ton of pressure against any defensive line. Brandon's going to hold the midfield very, very well. In the back line, we're going to have Isaac, Caesar, Gio, Lucas, all returning from last year, all going to contribute in very, very big ways. And a surprise kind of coming in out of almost nowhere, and a very strong midfield Xavier. I think that this team is again poised to do things that this school has never seen before, really contend with the top spots, as long as, again, they can hold that passion, that energy, and remain focused throughout the year. If that is their goals, I see them very, very likely achieving those goals. I believe that we have a target on our back. It's what happens to every year, to anybody that finishes close to the top. You always want to beat the teams at the top. You always have it harder than most of the other teams. Nobody goes in against you thinking that it's an automatic win. Everybody knows that you're going to get played against the absolute hardest that you can, both teams. I'm very excited for this year. I'm very nervous for this year. Emotions are high. Energy is questionable, but I think that this team will continue the trend of going up. And I'm very excited and very happy to be a part of it. Last, but certainly not least, is Hart. 16-5-1, 11-1 in Foothill, good enough for first place. And with 56 goals for, 19 goals against, you continue to ask the question, when does this dominance stop? Will it ever stop? Every year, Hart attracts very, very good players, some of the top players in the Valley. Division I program, their teams all finished first or tied for first. Their program is incredible, and you have to go back all the way to 2019 to when Hart didn't win a title. Back in those days, the records were along the lines of 6-0-4. Didn't lose any games, but they were tying a bunch of games. Last year, they saw their first defeat, and I start to raise the question, will that start tipping this year? I don't know. Their key players, Diego, Messiah, Justin, Marco, and goalkeeper, incredible. Absolutely incredible players. Such a privilege to watch them play. Being able to now be seniors and really uphold the standards of Hart. This team also only had 6 seniors last year. So you're talking about a returning group that is very experienced, very, very strong, and they know how to play, and they will play very hard. Second year Alex, Coach Alex, I don't think he's going to change too much. I think he's going to be the same, very explosive, very dynamic, very aggressive, very possessive team, and they're going to really, really, again, have that target on their back for finishing first every single year. They're going to take it, and they're going to run at you with everything that they have. Again, I think that this might be the year of change. I think. I said this last year, and they finished 11-1, but is it sustainable? Teams are getting better in the Valley. There's no question about it. Every team in Foothill has gotten better. I think the quality of soccer is getting better. You can thank a lot of the higher level programs that are offered in this Valley to that cause. And I do believe that there needs to be balance within the Foothill League. We cannot go into every single year assuming that we have one first place finisher and where is everyone else going to fall. I think that the league can balance out. I think the league should balance out, and I think that this is the year that it might start seeing some balanced out. They open up against Valencia at home. Very interesting to see what the scoreline is going to be, how they play, and overall, if they can keep sustaining this win streak that they're on, this very incredible, very, very difficult win streak that they've done since 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Can they have another championship in 2025? Overall, this Foothill League is going to be more electric, more intense, better soccer, and more fun every single year. I love watching every single game that I can. I love being a part of this league, and I hope that the league balances out for competitive reasons. I wish everybody and all the coaches, all the players, nothing but the best of luck. Please stay healthy, and I will see you out on the field.